We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they can send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck! Oh, that makes you know he can't fucking breathe! Oh, that makes you know We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. I am, of course, am your hostess with the mostest. The meter does many things, and with me, as is more often than not the case, I have got a glorious panel here with me to break down all the shit talking and shenanigans, the fight announcement and fuckery that has all trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all of that, though, first and foremost, gentlemen, how you doing over there?
Another day down in the week. One day closer to my retirement with a long fucking way to go. Happy Thursday.
Baby steps, baby steps.
It's not going bad. I am I don't want to say oddly surprised that I'm excited, but I am optimistic for 3 a.m. fights.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that more later, but there's like even I was even talking to the wife about it. Like there are fights going on right now from Canada. There's a newer fight league out of Canada that has now been picked up by Fight Pass. They have got some fights going on right now. And there are basically fights every few hours from literally right now until Sunday evening. There is some kind of fights every couple hours for like the next 3 days straight. So I'm a happy asshole. I'm not going to get much sleep, but I'm a happy asshole right now for damn sure. So, with that being said, we are going to go ahead and jump right in here and kick things off the way that we like to, with a little bit of news and recent events, fight announcements, fight cancellations, official rumor confirmations and denials, things like that relevant in the fight world we feel you fine folks need to know about here. Now, unfortunately, we had been on a pretty good run, and I feel like we almost got a little bit complacent. And this week is definitely going to make up for that because we've got several stories here that we need to talk about that tie back to last week and even a couple of weeks ago here. The first one to kick this off here, it has now officially been confirmed. Max Holloway, Patty Pimblett, and Rapel Stevenson have all been fined $2,500 each for jumping up on the cage at UFC 329. Um, Basically, Khabib ruined the ability for people to do that anymore, and I understand that. But making people pay a $2,500 fine for jumping up, not over, but up onto the cage when they're excited after a fight seems a bit fucking much. Like this is one of those arbitrary rules that you need to re-examine at least once a year, in my opinion. But it'll probably be a thing for at least a couple more years before they realize that as long as the fighter doesn't go over, it doesn't really make a difference. Fucking assholes.
To be honest, I think the athletic commission should find themselves for being a bunch of jagoffs, because
That
that's what that is.
yeah, the fact
Look,
that they had to get people together and have a fucking meeting to decide that that was going to be a thing. Talk about a waste of fucking time.
they just need to go ahead and say, you know what? Get on the cage is fine. Be on the apron of the cage is fine. The second you step off of where the apron is, though, yes, fine the fuck out of them, because that should not be allowed. But yeah, edge of the cage, fucking allow it. It's not hurting anybody. The worst thing that's going to happen is the fighter's going to injure themselves coming down, because we've seen that before.
Right, but either way, the fight's already fucking over. So
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
no,
Once
I completely
once that
agree.
bell rings or the fight is called off, anything from there on out, so long as they stay on the apron of the cage, doesn't fucking matter.
I agree. Long as the fighter doesn't go over the apron and no one from outside the fight or outside the octagon comes in, I don't think there should be a fucking issue. It's literally a victory celebration. Like some people dance, some people climb the fucking cage. Leave them the fuck alone. Neither one of them are hurting anybody. So, you know, more arbitrary bullshit we got to deal with. That being said, um, I can't believe we even have to fucking say this, but I'm going to talk about it because it needs to be fucking mentioned. Despite putting his asshole on his head for a fucking hat live on the UFC 330 broadcast and announcing that he was officially retiring from cornering fighters, Dean Thomas has not only since walked that back, but doubled down on the fact that no, he is not, in fact, done cornering fighters. He's going to continue to corner Sean Brady, not only for the upcoming fight, but for the foreseeable future. He's just done with Jillian. As if you needed more proof of what this guy's fucking character actually entails and why so many people are completely fucking done with him despite years of great fucking work in the industry. That dude cheddar bobbed himself on an Olympic fucking level, and I have no fucking pity for any of the fallout that he incurs because of that. That was an absolute fucking scumbag move, and now I also, inherently, because I'm a petty bitch, hope that Sean Brady gets fucking slept and somebody points right at fucking Dean Thomas afterwards. So, fuck Sean Brady, fuck Dean Thomas. That's some fucking hoe ass bullshit, and I'm not fucking with it. Um, Speaking of some hoe ass bullshit, I don't know who the fuck the medical commissioner or the commission's medical advisor for last weekend's LFA card was, but we watched Chris McCate walk into that cage with, I am not being funny and I am not trying to make light of it, literally the largest fucking staph infection anyone has ever climbed into a fucking cage with. I am not joking or trying to make light of the fact when I tell you straight the fuck up. This man had a bright pink and red softball in the middle of his fucking spine. Still managed to hold down the whole 3 round goddamn fight, so props to that. But the question is, how many other fighters are about to end up with fucking staph? Because that dude should never in a million fucking years have been cleared to fight with that giant fucking thing coming out of his fucking spine. Um, lots and lots and lots of people have been all over that one as well. The amount of fighters I have seen talking about how the fuck did that man get cleared to fight is something that I'm very happy to see. The discourse I'm happy to see. The fact that it was allowed, not very fucking good.
They
So
legitimately signed a warrant for everybody to get a staph infection because that's
Basically,
how those
everyone,
spread. Because
yeah,
guaranteed he was on the canvas at least once, rubbed up against the cage, whatever. That infection is all over there now,
yep,
and
they share
so
locker room
everybody else gets a piece.
just
so
from
it
the
was
locker room alone. Yeah,
it was confirmed staff.
it is. I should be clear about that. It has not officially been confirmed. Neither the LFA or Makate himself have officially confirmed it was staff. Training partners of his have gone off the record because they didn't want their face shown, saying that yes, it was staff. It popped up like 3 days before the fight, but it didn't seem to be an issue, so they didn't try and make a big deal out of it. It hasn't officially been confirmed by either Chris or LFA, so I should be clear about that. Good call.
I say whatever it wasn't open for whatever that grants him. It wasn't an open wound.
Right. The problem is
But
you could still get staff without
staff
that
is
bitch being
yeah,
open.
yeah. No, staff is something you don't play with.
Yeah, no, it was
Well, here's the catch: for those of you who are unaware, staphylococcus lives on your skin.
it's naturally
Every it does. Generally, how you get staph is you end up with an open wound, and there's already staph in that area of your body,
gets in, yeah.
and that's how it gets in. So he had an open wound on his back somehow, or somewhere in that area, and it might have been just it can be something as minor as mat burn, like they were doing fucking jujitsu drills, they were doing wrestling drills, and got a little mat burn. That mat burn is technically an open wound. Gets in that way. It's this, and then anybody else comes in contact with that same thing, you can get it. Now, I don't know for people who have never done like wrestling or anything like that, there's a reason why you mop the mats with bleach after every fucking wrestling practice.
Yeah.
Before you fucking roll them up and get them out of the way, you're mopping and cleaning. And whether it's using disinfectants, bleaches, whatever, you're doing something like that. I'm sure they do that in the gym that he's a part of, but that isn't a catch-all for everything.
No,
And God knows they aren't cleaning the mats in the cage between fights.
no shit.
Anybody who's been to live fights knows they do not do that. Why? Because it messes with the integrity of the mat. And guess what? They literally signed him off to, okay, that open wound or not, fucking retarded. That whole athletic commission, the medical examiner, the fucking fight promoter, the whole nine. Hang those motherfuckers out to dry. You want to start finding people? That's the kind of shit you find people for.
That's the kind of shit
Openly
the
and
commission should be
knowingly
going after.
spreading disease.
Yeah, that's the shit the commission should be going after 100%.
Well, and if you ask me, I feel like if Makate actually knew, if it comes out that it was staff and he knew, give up your fight purse. That's
Yep. Yeah, he's just as guilty in this as the people that allowed him
It's
to fight like that.
look,
100%.
it falls under that same concept of if you have an STD, you have to tell your partner. It's illegal not to.
Yep.
This should fall under those same kind of
Yeah,
fucking
this should be no
things
fucking
there.
different. I agree. I completely agree. Yeah, it was, and we called it out because we were watching it. We called that shit out as soon as he was walking out and took his shirt off. We immediately were both talking about, is that a cupping mark or is there something wrong with his back? And then when you turned and got a good look at it, we both were like, no, 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 that motherfucker's got a big ass fucking staff mark on his fucking spine, and they're gonna let him walk to the cage like that. And sure the fuck enough, they did. So definitely a fucking bad mark against LFA and everyone who was involved in that fucking event.
and just to add a little bit more, he passed the referee check before he got in the fucking cage.
Yeah. So everyone involved in that whole fucking ordeal is complicit in that, in my opinion. That being said, last one that will tie back to last weekend here. Um, we talked about it going in. We didn't get a chance to talk about it since because most of this happened last weekend. Uh, Ketlin Vieira showed up to her fight with Chris Cyborg last weekend, 7 pounds overweight. No excuse, no apology, no fucking justification, just 7 fucking pounds overweight. And then after a pretty fucking expected 5-round decision that went to Cyborg, she decided she's not, in fact, retiring after all. She still has a few fights left in her. She's going to see how things play out. So, what was literally billed as her retirement fight for the last 3 months turned out at the last minute to not actually be her retirement fight. And her opponent in that fight showed up 7 fucking pounds overweight to step in that cage. So,
That sounds like they fucked up and didn't actually talk to Cyborg at all. They
well,
just billed it.
Cyborg herself was the one that was saying it as recently as like last week. She did an interview and said, "Yeah, this is it. I've done everything. You know, I might do a little boxing after this, but this is the end of my MMA run." So she was literally herself putting that out there, literally like a week and change ago.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she just did that to fuck with people and throw them off. Which,
It
to be honest, you do you, boo boo.
wouldn't be the first time we've seen that technique used in her pseudo. Sorry, that's
Yep.
shit in my throat. But that being said, now we can get back to this week and going forward here. The first one, and I would be fucking remiss as an MMA podcaster if I did not mention this. Literally, the largest odds upset in MMA history took place not last weekend, but this week. Just 48 hours ago, Tuesday night on Dana White's Contender Series, Nepo baby of BJJ, Bellamir, came into that fight as a minus 6,000 favorite and then proceeded to get absolutely fucking handled for the entirety of the fight. Now, to be fair, Bella handled it like a fucking pro. She says, every time I lose, I learn, and this will just give me more experience because I had never had a fight go this long in my 4 pro fights before this happened. Completely understandable. She literally is brand new to MMA. She's just starting to learn things. She had never fought that long before. It all makes sense. She had a good attitude about it going forward. She congratulated her opponent, said she can't wait to get back in the gym and start working on the stuff that she realized that she needs to work on now. The issue comes into play when somebody forgot to tell her mama to put her Twitter fingers the fuck away. Because after that match was over, despite Bella releasing multiple different statements and doing interviews talking about how she's not mad that she lost, her opponent was much better than she was and better than she expected her to be, and that she now knows that she has some things herself she needs to go work on. Bella's mother went on Instagram and Twitter and not only started trolling the girl that beat Bella, but started calling out the judges and the referees as being corrupt because her daughter didn't win, to the extent that she was talking shit directly to the girl that just beat her daughter on Instagram. Not a good fucking look, in especially considering that this is far from the first time anyone in that woman's family has been in a fight. Her husband is Frank fucking Mir. She knows how this works. She knows what to expect. She knows how to navigate this portion, and still got so fucking rent free in her head that she had to go off and just go fucking ham. And the only thing that I will say that is a silver lining to this happening is that nearly every single comment that she left was ignored by the original poster that she was commenting on, and she got lit the fuck up like a gas fire by regular folks on every single one that is still out there, as she deservedly should have. If the fighter in the fucking cage says, no, I was beaten by a better opponent and I have things to work on, you don't get to cry because that was your baby that got beat. Sorry, I get that the emotions run high, but you have to keep your fucking self in check here. Ironically, Frank's been fucking quiet about it. Frank hasn't said a word because it's not his fucking thing to deal with. Crazy concept. That being said, moving forward, finally, this weekend down in Brazil, there will be a boxing match between Mauricio Shogun Rua and Glover Teixeira. And Shogun has confirmed this is going to be his official retirement fight from combat sports. He hasn't done MMA in a couple years now. He's still been training semi-regularly just to stay in shape, which is part of where the boxing match against Glover came from, because obviously Glover's not doing MMA anymore either. But they are relatively close in age. They are pretty fucking close in experience and fucking world-class talent. So the fact that they're going to let the old guys throw some boxing gloves on and they're not going to make a freak show out of it, I'm absolutely okay with. And the fact that Shogun is going to use a boxing match against another former legend like Glover as his retirement match in Brazil, I feel is brilliant fucking foresight. This is another one of those situations. We talk about it all the time. We talked about it last weekend when it was supposed to be Cyborg's time to hang him the fuck up. We would always rather see a fighter make the decision on their own to call it a fucking day while they are still able to tie their own shoes and sign their own name legibly than the alternative. I am 100% always happier to see a fighter make the choice to retire than have that choice made for them. So, especially in this situation, Shogun was a fucking monster, but towards the end of his MMA run had some brutal fucking stoppages. I'm absolutely glad to see him hang up the fucking gloves. I promise you, he can go anywhere in the fucking world and just coach or do seminars or teach lessons, whatever the fuck he wants to do. That man never has to worry about his financial future, regardless of what his state of the UFC quote unquote retirement was. He will be just fucking fine. So, very happy to hear Shogun saying some intelligent shit like this. Looking forward to see how that match plays out, because that's not one that's going to be broadcast outside of Brazil. So we won't know how that plays out until the end of the weekend, maybe Monday or so. But either way it goes, absolutely fucking pleased to hear some intelligent fucking decision making from an ex-fighter like that. Even better that it's a legend and he's showing other fighters this is how you can fucking do this. So definitely fucking cool there. That being said, back here in the well, I guess it's not technically here in the US of A, but from broadcast from here in the US of A, this weekend's card over in UFC Shanghai will get a debut and not in the cage for a change. They have officially announced the commentary crew, and making his official debut on the microphone beside Brendan Fitzgerald and Dominic Cruz will be one Michael Chiesa, officially sitting down at the desk with the big boys. No longer on the highlight reel and the breakdown desk. He is sitting down to do some actual cage side commentary. He has done cage side commentary for several other organizations. He has done it for several events. This is just the first time he will be doing it for the UFC during a live, full-length fucking actual UFC Fight Night card. So I'm fucking here for it. Chiesa has got a great fucking insight. That's why he's been such a good coach for so fucking long, aside from his fighting career. So this should be very good, and it's nice to see them giving Chiesa a chance to get back on the microphone after he is officially retired now as well. Excuse me. Now on the other side of things, kind of a little weird one, I guess. Ex Bellator star hasn't really done a whole lot since the PF Bellator takeover. Alejandra Lara has officially been given a 9-month suspension because she tested positive for a cocaine metabolite. The problem is she's South American and she routinely chews coca leaves, which, if you know anything about science or drugs, you know that cocaine comes from coca leaves, but chewing the coca leaves is not the same as doing cocaine. Still can't find those damn leaves around here, but that's neither here nor there. But Alejandra Lara has appealed her 9-month suspension, stating that not only is chewing coca leaves 100% legal, that she is using it in a religious sense here as part of her connection with her roots. And she's not buying coca leaves off the fucking street. They're literally being sent to her from the elders in the village where she was raised. So she is literally getting local herbs from her fucking hometown by her village elders or her religious elders in that area, sent to her and using them as a routine practice. She is not, in fact, doing cocaine itself, which is illegal. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, because to my knowledge, there has not been anyone else test positive for cocaine metabolites and then argue this coca leaf, because that's kind of scientifically very similar and could put a lot of this test method into question here, and the testing methodology into question here, if they can't differentiate between legally chewing on a coca leaf and illegally doing cocaine. Definitely curious to see how it plays out. Not obviously the biggest news of the weekend, but one of those interesting things that is I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. Oh, here we
I have
go.
an odd feeling that they're not going to give a shit what they did. She's still going to get a minimum 6 months.
Which is very possible, but then that's going to open a whole nother can of worms, and then we'll see how it trickles down from there, because that could start an avalanche for damn sure as well, with all the fucking religious justification or allowances that are given in situations like that normally. We'll see though. We'll see. It's definitely an interesting one. Kind of a strange story, but I felt worth mentioning here. Kayla Harrison has officially become PFL fighter Dakota Bush's manager. Little interesting to me, because Kayla herself does not represent herself. Kayla has fighter management, but she is acting as Dakota Bush's management, and Dakota Bush, to his credit, flunked out of the UFC real fucking hard and real fucking fast, but seems to have found his way since making it over to the PFL, doing pretty goddamn good over there. How and why he ended up with Kayla as his manager is a bit of a weird story. Apparently, he was having trouble getting his fights booked, and she took it upon herself when they were talking about it to say, let me see what I can do, and apparently made some phone calls and got him a new contract negotiation, a better contract deal, and an immediate fight once she stepped in. So I'm not sure if he just didn't have any representation, and the fact that it was Kayla Harrison doing the phone calls got him a little more attention, or if she's starting the groundwork for a potential post-fight career avenue. I got to be honest, I would much rather see the former rather than the latter, because I don't think a fighter is necessarily the best person to try and do legal negotiations for a fighter. There's literally a reason that people go to school for that exact type of thing. Lawyers are lawyers for a fucking reason. That's what they do. But if it's one of those situations where he was just winging it himself and trying to do his own work and was clearly struggling, and Kayla's name got him the necessary traction he needed to get something going, good for him. I don't know that this is necessarily a long-term solution, unless this is, the beginning of the Kayla Harrison Representation Agency, but good for him getting back under it. Good for Kayla for reaching out and helping a fellow fighter here, but I'm curious how this is going to go long term. Speaking of curious how things are going to go long term, it was officially confirmed just this afternoon that upon his release from his UFC contract, heavyweight fighter Chris Barnett has now officially been the first to sign with Power Slap, coming directly off the UFC release. I do not think that was a good idea by any stretch of the imagination, but if that's the way that he's going to go, more power to you, Sailor. Have fun. Good luck. Don't die. Over on the other side of things here, though, we did get a fairly decent announcement from Jorge Masvidal this week. First and foremost, Gamebred Fighting Championship Bare Knuckle MMA has officially signed a broadcast rights deal with DAZN through 2028, I believe. And they announced the next 4 events for Gamebred FC. Excuse me. The first one will be Gamebred FC live from Russia, September 12th. The following event will be Gamebred FC live from the Dominican Republic, October 2nd. The final 2 will be back at the quote-unquote warehouse that they fight out of in Miami, where they base most of the other shows from. But they're going big and going around the world with this goddamn thing in the next couple of weeks. So DAZN has clearly seen the writing on the wall and is willing to jump on board, and that kind of says a little bit, in my opinion. The last one I've got here, back over on the UFC side of things, we have got the final closing pay-per-view, former pay-per-view. Now, quote unquote numbered events for those of you just listening to close out the UFC's year. UFC 334 will be taking place November 14th, exactly where everyone fucking expected it to be, Madison Square Garden in New York, because they pretty much always do their November's pay-per-views or now numbered events from MSG. This is exactly the trend that we expected to go, even though they've tried to add some level of mystery to it for some fucking reason. And as is also almost always the fucking case nowadays, the final pay-per-view of the calendar year, UFC 335, will be taking place December 12th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, the same place they've had the final pay-per-view of the year for the last dozen years or so now at this point. So we have got the rest of the pay-per-views for the year announced. Now we are just waiting on the fights, main events, co-main events, etc., to be announced for those numbered cards, and then we can start actually seeing how exciting this calendar year will round out for the UFC. But that is what I have got for news this week. Either one of you gentlemen have anything that I might have missed over there? All right. So, that being said, normally this would bring us to the point where the kid would tell us all about the names that are going to be names before their names, et cetera, et cetera. But unfortunately, he is still working, and we are not certain if he's going to make it this evening or not. So, that being said, I do want to take a little bit of time to talk about this card itself here. I figure to keep from running too long on this, because first and foremost, I do want to remind everyone the UFC Shanghai card starts at 3 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning, 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. That means that it is going to essentially be a Friday night card, not really a Saturday card. That entire event will be wrapped up before 9:30 in the morning here in the US of A. So if you are not a night person, you are most likely going to have to be catching the replays on this one. As is normally the case, though, barring something stepping in the way, I will be keeping an eye on those fights, and you can tune in to the I'm No Joe YouTube channel here on the Shorts tab for any of the big finishes and the breakdown of how they got to that point as well, just for a little heads up for you. That being said, though, I thought we could take a moment to go over this one kind of pit style. We can go around back and forth here and go one good one bad one, co-main event, main event, how you think it's going to play out, maybe an honorable mention if one really tickles your fancy. So we can start here with the good ones. Justin, do you have one particular fight on this card that you are looking forward to above the others?
Give me a second. I gotta pull up the
Oh, my bad.
rest of the card itself. Why is that not? Hold on one moment. One of those events that are going on happens to be the front page of Tapology, which is fucking free, people.
Yes, sir.
There we go. And then, oh, that was wrong. So, to be honest with you, I'm probably looking forward to somebody getting the dong. Once this actually pulls up, I'll be able to look at the rest of the card. Nope, it's not pulling up for me. Yeah, I'd have to say of the rest of the card, probably Song Yudong's fight. I don't see it going much different than most of his fights. He's probably gonna come out on top. I would like to see him flatline the other man, but we will see how that goes.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with you on that as well. What do you think, Golf T? What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Decisions. What I'm looking forward to is sleeping through this whole fucking card, because I'm not getting up at 2 a.m. to start watching a card. And to be honest, I'll be driving by the time the main event comes around, so I'm
Right.
gonna miss the whole kit and fucking caboodle. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very glad that they're throwing this shit so goddamn early. Because as a whole, this is kind of tough to look at. Like, there's some fights on here where I think it's people fighting for their walking papers.
Yeah.
Case in point, what is it? The Jack Jenkins, Sean Woodson. That fight, those guys are fighting for their fucking walking papers,
Yeah.
in my fucking opinion. Oh, as far as something to look forward to, you got to look real deep. The only thing that is slightly, um, I'll say, intriguing is going to be seeing this is going to sound really fucking weird, but Yan Nan and Denise Gomes. And not because of Gomez. I'm talking about Yan Nan. She's had a good streak in her until she gets close to a title shot. And then she seems to just fucking shit the bed or gets the title shot and shits the bed.
Yeah.
Um,
Very
she's
Cowboy
ba-
Cerrone that way.
Yeah, I mean, she lost to Jandaroba. Jandaroba lost the interim title. She lost to fucking Wiley. Wiley had the title at the time. I'm just saying, I'm wondering if she can climb that mountain, especially now with who we have in the driver's seat of Dern, because she has beaten Dern in the past.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good fucking solid stamp. Gives her a good reason to go up and fight Dern, which,
Okay.
to be fair, I think we all need somebody to take that away from her.
And Jan's sitting at number 4, so it would make sense with a good win too. So yeah, no, I agree. That could absolutely play out pretty fucking well.
So,
Um, go ahead.
one moment. I got a chance to look at the card again, and I completely forgot Kaya Sakura's on this card.
Yes.
I am definitely always interested in any fight that he's in. Now, unfortunately, 3 of the last 5, or no, 2 of the last 5, he has lost, but he did get a win this last time he was in there. And it's always interesting watching Kaya Sakura in the ring itself.
And he's finally decided to stay up at bantamweight now, which credit to going in at 25 and trying to do the goddamn thing. But man, if you have a hard time cutting to 25, there's a fucking killer's row down there for right now. I'm not saying the road to the belt at 35 is any easier, but the steps leading to that belt may be a little easier at 35 than they were down at 25 for damn sure. And yeah, Arichi Lang might not be a fucking world breaker, but that motherfucker is a solid test for anybody. He's good everywhere, and he's got a 5-round gas tank, and he always has 3-round fights. So he doesn't hardly wear down. He's there for the duration to make it interesting. So yeah, that fight is absolutely on my radar for goddamn sure. I will say overall, the UFC did the UFC thing. The road to the UFC fight starts in like 4 hours from now, and then tomorrow evening, essentially here in the US, we will get the actual, UFC Shanghai card, which almost every fight has either someone from the region or someone with ties to the region, someone from the Oceania Asian market or that side of the UFC's reach at least. Um, so they did do that, but overall, in terms of like divisional impact or like fights that people can easily get excited about, um, this card definitely needs some milk.
He needs some milk.
Um, that being said, there is still a couple of interesting ones on this one here. For me, it's one of the prelim fights. Ray Saruya versus Kevin Borjas. Borjas came in like a fucking bat out of hell, high hypes for his prospect level. He started to catch a little bit of tread, but didn't quite make as fast of an impact as a lot of folks thought he was gonna. Ray Saruya on the other side of things here, trying to really establish himself in the UFC. Um, Bounced back from the fucking decision loss to Joshua Van, gave Joshua Van pre-title fight a decision run in a pretty goddamn good fight, turned around, choked Garul the fuck out. So Saruya is back to try and regain some of that momentum that he started his UFC tenure with. Borjas on the other side of things, trying to get momentum back himself as well. Pretty good matchmaking, in my opinion. Both of them very similar styles, grapple heavy with strong fucking hands. Could be a very interesting fight early on the card, and I am definitely looking forward to that because if I'm staying up all night, you motherfuckers better entertain me because I could find much more entertaining shit to get into without the UFC at 3 a.m. on a Saturday. Wink. That being said, I know there is more than enough of it to go around, but is there one particular fight that you are actively going to ignore on this card?
I'll run with this. The whole fucking card.
That's half cheating because you're not going to watch it anyway.
And in all honesty, there's nothing on this card that really blows my socks off and then says you need to make sure you're tuned in. I will say this goes without saying. I said it a second ago, but Jack Jenkins and Sean Woodson, both of those guys fighting for walking papers. Fuck them both. I can't say a whole lot about the rest of the card because a lot of the other people on the card are brand new to the fucking UFC at this point. Because the UFC does just like they do when they go outside of the country, they pull from the surrounding area as close as they can.
Right.
In fact, what is it? That fight between fucking Jack Jenkins and Sean Woodson is the only fight on the card that does not have someone of Asian descent in the fucking fight.
In one side of it or the other, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and because it's all Southeast Asia, or somebody who's Asian from a different country.
Right.
That's the only fight that doesn't have it. So it's nice to see them pulling that, but there's nothing that says, oh my God, don't watch any of these guys because they're brand fucking new. But as a whole, it's a hangover card. And it's not even a good hangover card. It's just a hangover card.
Yeah.
I won't say it's terrible because we've had way worse, but
Agreed. Absolutely agree.
it's just not great.
So me on the other hand, I'm the exact opposite. I don't really have any fights that I'm not looking forward to because, and I say this because this happens to me every time in my life. Anytime I was to say, let's just scroll and say the Lima fight's going to be boring, right? It's not going to be worth the watch. Guaranteed somebody gets knocked the fuck out in that fight. Every single time I think something's going to be boring, or I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go get up, take a piss. I hear, oh my God. Happens every single time. So I am eagerly awaiting the entire card. And yes, I will be watching the entire thing.
Yeah, no, you definitely have a pretty good run there where you were like, yeah, this one's gonna suck, and then we ended up with like a first round finish or something. So yeah, no, I definitely get that as well. Um, I really only have one that I am not looking forward to. Like TJ said, there none of them are really stand out. Like this card would just as equally be at home in the Apex in terms of card matchups and overall card potential. But there is one that I have to say I'm just like disappointed about. Uh, Jingyang Jiang was the one championship lady striker. She was the big name that they quote unquote stole from one championship to come over and dominate the UFC. And who is she fighting this weekend? Julia Pilastri, one of the most forgettable fucking fighters on the entire UFC female roster. Like, I get that they're bringing her to China so that she can do this potentially in front of her home fans, but wouldn't it be better if she was as good as she said she is and you give her someone that is equally fucking respectable, or at least somebody in the fucking rankings to make an impression with over here in Shanghai? Like,
Problem is that she's 38 fucking years old.
yeah, well, there is absolutely that as well. She is fucking sniffing at 40, and that is almost a hard cutoff in terms of female MMA for damn sure. Just overall, you got to be one hell of a fucking specimen physically to be able to keep doing MMA after 40 to begin with. But on the lady side of things, that's almost a hard cutoff. And yeah, we're right on the fucking heels of that here as well. So while I would love to see her show up and just make fucking waves immediately, we're cutting it real fucking thin, and I don't feel like Palastria is going to give her the opportunity to really show what she's capable of. I don't think this fight's going to last very long to begin with, but I don't think it's going to be as good as we would need it to be for the hype that has been built around her coming to the UFC as well, either. Um, that being said, I kind of have to agree with TJ on the co-main here. I have nothing against Denise Gomes, but I can't remember the last time she was in a fight that I got excited about, or one that I could remember off the top of my head because it was so good. I could probably give you three excuse me, Zhao Nan Yan fights off the top of my head where even if she didn't win, that girl comes out there to fucking brawl. She brings it every goddamn time. She is a lady with your shield or on it type of fighter, and I absolutely fucking love those. So, like he said, she has been to the mountaintop. She has fought for the belt. Obviously, it didn't go her way, or she'd have it still, but she has seen what the potential level that she has to be capable of is, and she's been tearing her way through trying to get back to that fucking belt shot again. And I think if she comes through this weekend and she hands Denise Gomes an ass whooping of epic proportions, like we know she's capable of, at home in front of the Chinese crowd, and they go ape shit, we could see the next challenger for the belt that Mackenzie Dern is currently holding. I refuse to call it her belt, but the belt that she is currently holding. That being said, that is also only if Wei Li does not decide that she's going to come back down and immediately snatch that and Mackenzie's fucking soul. But if that doesn't happen, I think this is a good potential weekend for Yan to stamp herself as the next fucking contender for that belt. How do you think the main's going to go, TJ?
As far as the main is concerned, this is cannon fodder, in my opinion, because it's not doing anything for this division, in my opinion. We know where Umar's been sitting. The only person this could benefit would be Song Yadong. And that's purely on the fact of he's been on a win-loss streak. Won his last fight out against Davidson Figueiredo, but he needs to string a couple together if he wants to get anywhere near a title talk. Umar, unfortunately, is, well, he's winning, minus the fact that he lost to Marab. But I mean, that's the machine. There's only a few people who have managed to actually beat the machine. I won't say they're stopping the machine because they're not really stopping him because he just
Nobody
keeps
stop
going.
that motherfucker.
But Umar has pretty much decisioned everybody in his fucking path, which is unfortunately very fucking boring. I mean, was his last finish was what, Ronnie Barcelos in what, 2023, I think. So I mean, the dude's fucking just, he's a decision machine, and to be honest, he's a boring fighter. So I said this is a no win for this division. The only person it could be a win for is Song Yadong, especially winning in front of the home fucking crowd. That would be the fucking coup de grace for him. But other than that, I hate to say it, but I have a feeling Umar is going to end up decision winning it, and just because of the way he fights. A boring ass decision win.
Definitely a possibility. Um, I don't know. I have yet to be sold on Umar as anybody but another, mediocre journeyman riding the coattails of a last name. Uh he is not Khabib. He is not Islam. He does not have that level of grappling and striking ability. Yes, he can grapple some. Yes, he has done some striking, but anything on even remotely close to the level of either one of his camp compatriots, not a fucking chance. Um, TJ did mention it. The dong is on a fucking hit and miss streak, and it's been a hot minute like that. The issue is that when that motherfucker is on, he is dangerous. I don't know. I think TJ's 100% right. I don't know that even a decision win or maybe even a finish would do a whole lot for Umar right now. He's kind of stuck perpetually in that, top 5 gatekeeper role more than anything really climbing back towards the title. Whereas Song has been making enough waves and making enough progress in all of his fights, especially coming off a win against Figgy Smalls. Like he could genuinely get enough momentum to put his name in the conversation. I don't know if he's going to get above O'Malley right now because O'Malley kind of has a claim for winner of Marab versus Jan's rematch, but that's also really only if Jan wins because if Marab gets the belt back, there's absolutely no reason to have O'Malley versus Marab 3. He dogged him and kissed him in the first one and decisioned the shit out of him 50-45 in the second one. There's no reason to see a third fight in that series. But if Jan gets past him, this would absolutely make an interesting matchup for O'Malley, which leaves basically Song the number 1 contender or the potential next guy out. 135 is popping pretty fucking hard at the top of the division right now. So I agree. This is not one of those situations where you can get a fucking decision win and get put right into the conversation. And Umar is kind of stuck where he is to begin with. So even with a big finish, it might not really help him. But this is one of those situations where Song Yadong, in my opinion, is absolutely capable of coming out and shutting Umar the fuck down quickly and definitively, especially at home, especially if some of the fellow countrymen and countrywomen have done work leading into that and the momentum is really fucking rolling. The crowd gets into it. We've seen Song Yadong feed off of that fucking hometown energy like a Dragon Ball fucking star and just go in and go ape shit. So this would be one of those times if he can do that again, this could be very fucking good for him. I don't see anywhere that Umar could really take this unless he literally gives us a 25-minute wet blanket session, in which case, like we just talked about, ain't going to do nothing for him or his fucking claim that he's trying to make. But I have a feeling that, like Flintlock over there said, Umar is going to get the dong this weekend.
Echo, 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 echo. Yeah, no. Nurmagomedov is gonna go in there and be like, "Oh, I fight with Khabib. I wrestle for Khabib," and get the fucking dong put on him. It's gonna be fucking what's his record? 20-1. He's gonna be 20-2. Cause fuck him.
Yep.
Fuck him and his whole camp. Just like you said, he's not Khabib. He's not Islam. He's not going to be. Why he's number 4, I'll never know. TJ does have, a point. The only person that this benefits is Song Yadong. And I hope to everything, to any celestial beings, to any gods, to anything, that he goes in there and either A, chokes this man unconscious, or B, puts him flat on his back staring at the top of his skull.
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest fight on the card, but even then, there's still that legitimate potential for Umar to come in and fuck up all the excitement and just make it an agonizing long 25-minute finish out. So hoping against hope here for damn sure. That being said, though, that'll bring us to the point in the show where we have one segment that does require its own individual disclaimer. So, if you will, Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does give you the option to go onto their website, make a free account, and then make fantasy MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups there. So we made one. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965. However you need to find it, the group is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged. Make yourself an account. Let us know who you are, and we will hold your picks accountable with ours in the segment that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right, let's start here. One, for those of you that are freeloaders, not a member of Tapology yet, go create an account. They're free. We know you're a freeloader because otherwise you'd be a member of the Patreon, which is scrolling below. Now, I'm going to make this short, sweet, and to the point because this is kind of like whose line is it anyway last week. It's all made up. Points don't fucking matter because we don't have anything for it to go into. Right now, it's just a free for all. So, top spot goes to Vindog, taking it home with 530 points. Based on the way he finished his last outing there, last week's. Well, would have been the previous set of picks. He was moving himself back up. I think we may have seen him turn a corner here, which is fucking ecstatic to see. Now, also, I need to take my head off and do a big old thank you to Flintlock for absolutely shitting the fucking bed. Getting a whole whopping 3 picks in, and
I
only
would
2
like to
of them
defend
correct.
myself.
No, you don't get to defend yourself. This is me letting you know you didn't just trip over your dick. You preemptively stomped on it before you
Oh
had a
no, I did.
chance to trip over it.
I did. And when I was on here making the picks with Mr. Meter, because we were watching the weigh-ins, I swear to everything that I pushed save. Because those 3 picks were the picks that I made on that Thursday show when we were talking about the stuff. So those saved, and I don't know. But yes, I completely flopped on
I'm
my
just
dick and
saying
do it in a guillotine.
that really sounds like an excuse. Excuses are like assholes. Everyone has one, and they all fucking stink. Period. But that's all right. Everyone is entitled to their own excuses. Oh, with that being said, we're gonna move on because there's no Grand Prix to talk about or anything like that. So we're gonna hop right over into some odds here. I'm gonna do something a little out of the norm with the odds, and we're going to use FanDuel because I generally don't fuck with them, but we're gonna fuck with them tonight. For the most part, there is a lot of coin flips on the card. So I'm only going to talk about the ones that have some fairly wide odds, and then of course the couple that are distinctly wide. We're going to start here with something only slightly wide, and that is going to be the Nasame Batayer. I'm probably martyring his fucking name, and Andre Lima. Lima coming in as a minus 290 favorite. Nasamir is a plus 225 underdog. Not super wide, but it's something. Then you also have another one that is in that same vein there, Hector Santiago and Lawrence Liu. Liu being the Asian who is coming from New Zealand. This is how they've kind of made this whole bill fit over there. Is coming in as the favorite, a minus 290 favorite for Lou, and then Santiago a plus 225 underdog. Not super wide, but it's something. Now, speaking of odds, if we look over at the incoming one fighter, Jin Zhang, Julia Plastri, or we got that right, Plastri. Plastri is coming in as a minus 265 favorite over the aging Zhang at a plus 210 underdog. Not super wide, but it's there. We're gonna hit up these wide odds on the card here before we jump in. Actually, nope, there's one other semi-wide one that I want to speak on, and that was mentioned earlier, specifically by Flintlock himself. Adriki Lang and Kaya Sakura. Adriki Lang coming in as a plus 340 underdog at home. Kaya Sakura coming in from Japan, getting the minus 470 favorite. Not surprising, to be quite honest. But I think it could be a little bit closer because, home field advantage. Oh, on to the wider ones here. We'll hit these up here. Kevin Borges and Ray Tsuruya. Tsuruya coming in as a minus 700 favorite over Borges, a plus 470 underdog. Nobody is surprised there at all. And if somebody is surprised, they're wrong. The widest odds on the card go to Bilal Hassan and Nissan Rojas coming in as a plus 520 underdog. Hassan a minus 800 favorite. Now, minder, what I'm telling you these from is from FanDuel. So know that these odds are definitely going to vary depending on where you're looking at them. So take that all with a grain of salt. With that, we're just going to cover the co-main and main. Co-main, I'm very thrown off about on the odds on this one. They have it as a coin flip, pretty much. In the Denise Gomes and Jan Jonah. Jan is a minus 158 favorite. Denise a plus 128 underdog. Pretty close to a coin flip. I think those odds are quite a bit off here. There could be some late money that comes in and changes that drastically. But I really don't see that as a coin flip between those two. Just as I said a minute ago, with the main event here in Umar Nurmagomedov and Song Yidong, they have Umar coming in as a minus 600 favorite against the at-home Song Yidong, a plus 420 underdog. To be honest, I think those are a little wider than they need to be, considering Umar is a decision fighter. But, it is what it is. It is weird to see a main event with that wide of odds, though. Generally, the UFC's been pretty good about making it so they're kind of even as far as the odds are concerned when it comes to main events lately. But that's what we got this week. Hopefully there's something better next week.
Not likely, but we're still hoping. Well, with that being said, that is just about all that we have got for this particular episode. If you are new here, first and foremost, thank you for sticking around. We do this kind of thing pretty much every week when there are fights to talk about. We go live Thursday evening, 9:30-ish Central Standard Time, both on youtube.com/ at I'm No Joe. Also dual broadcast. We see you over there. Twitch.tv/ I'm No Joe. We broadcast the video to both sites and then leave the replays up. So if you miss us live, you can always go back and catch a replay. If you miss us live and you miss the replay, we also understand that. We own mirrors as well for that exact reason. The week after we go live on video, we put the all audio version up on anchor.fm/ I'm No Joe. Use that to get it to your podcast consumption platform of choice, Google, Spotify, Apple, whatever you use to listen to shit. It is up there and it is free for you there as well. If you really like what we get up to around here, hit that thumbs up down there. It means a lot. If you really dig it, subscribe and make sure you turn the notification bell on when you subscribe, because YouTube is garbage at telling you when we actually post things. If we tickled your fancy, share an episode of the show, maybe consider hopping over to patreon.com/ I'm No Joe. For as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving, you help us do what we do around here. And in exchange for that, first and foremost, we put your name at the end of every broadcast to show everybody how fucking awesome you are. But more than that, we have exclusive Patreon only content over there. Not only is all the behind the scenes and the backstage shenanigans, everything that got us kicked off of OnlyFans as a podcast, it's all over there for the patrons to subscribe or to get with their Patreon subscription, as well as the exclusive Patreon only content. That being said, the other side of that coin, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast that you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, when we wrap things up around here Thursday night, that is not the end of the fun, because once in a while on a Friday morning, the other kid who was stuck at work, Slow Bake, and his other half dropped their podcast, Slow Bake and Contemplate, over on Spreaker.com. Links to all of their stuff down below and their social media, as well as their channel on the I'm No Joe Discord server. And even though it's not a regular thing anymore, you still want to keep an eye over on the Golf T Vapes YouTube channel, because every now and again, shenanigan streams happen. They're not routine. They're not always. It's not a regular thing. It's sporadic. But if you want to see them when they do happen, you got to go over and you got to make sure you're subscribed to his channel as well. Links down in the description, whether you're watching or listening to this.
Ironically enough, I appreciate that, but I've also been toying with the idea of putting my channel on dormancy and just removing things, because although the other side of me says to leave it open, so that way once I cark it, my kid has something to go back and at least watch and listen to my voice, where I wish my old man would have had something like that, because I could still hear what he sounded like, because unfortunately, time makes you forget. But yeah, Since I don't do things on Wednesday, you need something to fill that gap, and maybe you want to forget a bit. Go over to Meter's other channels. Linktree/Meter does many things. Linktree/ I'm No Joe. That'll take you to each of the many things that the Meter does do, and it'll definitely help you forget that I didn't have something going on Wednesday.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah, if you, like myself, are a fan of Satan's Jazz Cabbage, you definitely want to click on that Meter Does Many Things link. There is always something fun and foggy going on over there. On the other side of that, though, if you are just here for the punchy, kiki goodness, fret not, Mon Ami. We have got you covered. Linktree/I'm No Joe takes you to everything to do with the podcast, the Twitch stream, the YouTube stream, the games that we do, our social media. The Tapology link is in there. Join you fucking cheapskates. Bring it. We're ready for it. All our receipts are public. Show us what you fucking got. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.